just a white tall guy with brown hair. So like, to be honest, I did dye my hair so I would stand out. So I'd be recognizable. Like you have to think, what are recognizable features on certain individuals? Like look at Ninja.
Blue hair.
Blue hair. He's got hair. Tim the Tap Man. All these like Twitch guys, they have these recognizable features. I mean, you have some anomalies. Like Logan's just a big dude. Like he's got his hair anyway. Exactly. But you have certain things that define you as an individual. Welcome into the podcast, episode 16 of Livin Large. We can catch it every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. exclusively on the app Castbox. Just go to the App Store, download it. You can listen to it first before anybody else. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And then you can see it on my YouTube channel in video form at noon PST. Today's guest, Chris Barris.
Christian Barris, but
Christian, whatever. Chris is usually short for Chris.
True.
Christopher. So this is actually our first time meeting. One of the few strangers, if you will, on my podcast, but we have a mutual friend, Johannes Bartel.
Yeah.
How do you know Johannes?
Oh, that's a funny story. I met Johannes about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
It was super random. You know the 800 degrees pizza right here?
One of the best pizzas I've ever had. Yes.
Yeah, I was there with my sister and my another friend of mine. He's like a stunt guy. We were eating a pizza, and then I recognized Johannes coming in with Logan Paul.
Okay.
I was like, I think I should just go up to him and just say hi. So I went up to him, and I know he speaks German because he's Austrian.
Yeah, he's Austrian.
I speak German too, French, English, Luxembourgish. So I was like, hey Johannes, wie geht's? So in German, like straight away.
What's wie geht's mean?
Wie geht's? How are you, man?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was like, oh man, how are you? And actually he recognized me too, which I didn't expect. And I was like, oh, do you know me? He was like, oh yeah, I saw you collab with this German YouTuber, and I did a cool stunt video with him on YouTube.
Who's the YouTuber?
Oh, his name is like Flying Uwe. He does like martial arts stuff.
Okay. Johannes really embraces the German speaking. Yeah. So like whenever someone comes up to him and speaks German right off the bat, he's always like, German. I don't know any German. Like, Guten Tag. Guten Tag, wie geht's? That's really funny.
That's how we got, that's how we became friends. And then here we are a year later.
Awesome. And you mentioned there that you speak what? You speak English, German, French and Luxembourgish? What does that even mean? A little bit of
Turkish too. So Luxembourg is the second smallest country in the world, right next to Germany, France, and Belgium.
What's the smallest country in the world?
I think it's Liechtenstein.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how small it is. But yeah, Luxembourg and Liechtenstein are the two, smallest countries in the world.
Was Luxembourg ever a part of Germany?
I think,
because I've heard Luxembourg, but I thought it was just like a city in Germany.
Yeah, that's what most people think. They think either it's part of France or Belgium or Germany, but it's actually independent and it's its own country. And so Luxembourgish itself, the language is a mix between Dutch, German, French, and English.
Okay.
So that's where it originated from. That's how it holds.
So is that your first language, Luxembourgish?
No, I actually, so just a little backstory about me. My mom's American, Filipino, Chinese, and my father's German, Turkish.
Okay. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, man. I know. That's why I'm like, are you ready? Yeah. Okay. So my mom was in the military and she got stationed in Germany, and that's where she met my father.
She was in the American military.
American military. Okay. So I was born in Germany on a military base.
Okay.
So I have the double citizenship, the Luxembourgish one and the American citizenship. Okay. So
you had no struggles like Johannes getting into America.
It's not like, how do I get my visa?
Yeah. Guys, if you haven't seen the podcast I did with Johannes, we talked a lot about, if you guys are foreign, the struggle to become an American citizen, to be able to live in America. Fortunately, you didn't have to deal with that. You got born.
Johannes was stressed out. I remember.
Oh my God. That's why he's bald now. I swear. He's got no hair.
But yeah, that was a huge advantage for me when I first came here. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say how I got into acting and then why I even came to LA.
Okay, yeah. So let's start first. You're an actor, model, social media.
Social media influencer. Yeah.
So people know, not just friends with Johannes. Yeah. Talk about that. How'd you come to LA? How'd you get into acting?
I believe when I was 16 years old, my sister, she already had her production company in Luxembourg. It was tiny.
How much older is your sister?
She's older than me. She has more experience. She's my stepsister. Okay. So my father married her mother 20 years ago. So she's older than me and she has more experience. She already has companies and all that. So basically, when I was 16 years old, I first went with her on set, and I, started helping her out as an assistant, carrying the mics and the lights and all that stuff, and
doing the bitch work.
Yeah, exactly. But to be honest, I actually found love with the craft and the work behind it. And I was like, wow, I actually think this is really, really cool. Like, but I always knew that it's not really a job like that. You only have regular 9-to-5 jobs in Luxembourg.
Right.
Actors don't really exist. Like everyone's an actor, everyone's a model, influencer. So that doesn't really exist in Luxembourg. So, I remember one day my sister came up to me and she asked, hey, what do you want to do in life? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to, finish school, have a regular job, play PlayStation.
Just follow the path.
Be with my girlfriend, just chill, whatever. And she was like, no, you really have to start thinking now what you want to do in your life and, try to, work on your dream and all that stuff. So
this is when we were 16, yeah?
Yeah, I was 16 years old. And I was like, I don't know. Like when you're 16, you're a teenager, you don't really know what you want to do in life.
Of course. And I think, honestly, even here, like in high school, they're like, you start applying for colleges at 16 and they're like, well, what do you want to major in? And it's like, I'm 16. I don't know. Like, what do I want to do? The rest of my life is being decided now.
Yeah, you know nothing about life.
Yeah.
Like no life experience, nothing. So that was the big challenge I faced. So a week went by. We were arguing all the time, the whole week. She was like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? So a week went by and I finally went over and I was like, hey, I think I do know what I want to, become. I want to focus on acting. I want to become an actor. And she was like, okay, perfect, good. So let's work on that. But the first step is you got to move to LA. You can get an agency there. The castings are there. So you're never going to become an actor in Luxembourg. So
right.
That's how the idea of moving to LA started. So
that's interesting to be honest, because I feel like not a lot of people would be like, oh, cool, let's do it. Yeah. Because especially, Ohio, like, oh, you want to be an actor? Like, ha, right? And I'm sure Luxembourg, it's like, you want to be an actor? Dude, good luck.
Dude, like, right? Like, seriously, when I said that to my parents, they're like, what is wrong with you? Was
it in English or was it in Luxembourg?
No, it was. So I speak with my father in German and with my mother in French and English. So yeah, there's a strange dynamic when we're sitting on the table.
I feel like German's a very authoritative language.
Yeah, but for me, not to me. Because,
right, but when an English person hears it,
like, was ist los?
Yeah. Seems like you're getting yelled at all the time.
But my friends were against me. They're like, why are you moving over to LA? There are a million actors. You're never going to make it. Even my ex-girlfriend at that time was like, you're never going to make it. What's wrong with you? So, at that point, I didn't care. My sister and I, she motivated me. She told me, she basically is my mentor and she manages all my social media and all my stuff. So she's my guidance on, how to be successful.
Right.
She already had more experience in acting and all that, in being in front of a camera, how to present yourself. So that was a huge plus. So I saw it as a huge plus that I could have someone on my side, moving with me to LA. And she planned everything. Every summer, I remember I was working at the bank with my mom. She got me like a small summer job and I was working there and I was like, why am I here? I'm going to kill myself.
Right, yeah.
I was like, this is not what I want to do. This is not how I envisioned my life to be. So, just saved my money and with my sister. And then we decided, once I graduated high school, we would move straight to LA and that's what we did.
So what was that like? Because it's always interesting because your parents at first are like, what are you doing, right? They're like, this isn't really stable. This is kind of a long shot.
Still is.
It is. It's hard because you're competing with so many people here. But what was that like for you?
It was the hardest time of my life because I've never been separated from my parents for,
So was it a hard decision for you to make?
Yeah. Even just leaving the small country of Luxembourg, like everyone knows me. I know everyone because it's so small, you know? And like, I was just so confused because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not. So that decision, I had two choices. I stay and I just, do whatever my parents want and go to school and, just do my life. Or I take a chance and, take a risk and move to LA and actually try it. So.
And when did you move here?
It was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. So you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Which is great news. But I want to know because did your parents try to not let you leave? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, my parents were against it, completely against it. My father didn't talk to me for a whole year.
Oh,
to
wow.
be honest, like when I was finishing, high school, when I was almost done, that year he knew that I was gonna leave, and he stopped talking to me. He was like ignoring me, and I was like, okay,
because he didn't want it to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand too. Like it was really hard. Like I'm his only son, so it was really hard for him to let go.
Yeah, no, especially for me, my mom was very upset when I moved out here, and I live, 2,000 miles. I'm sure, Luxembourg is even further. It's like an 18-hour flight.
And also, like, for him, it was like, if something happens to me, he's not there he can't just come here and just help.
Right. I think that's any struggle with any parent letting go of their kids, It's like, it sucks to see them grow up. But like at the same time, like what I admire is that you took the leap and you're like, look, this is my life. I know a lot of people in Luxembourg are just going to be in Luxembourg. And this is my only shot. And I think that the most important thing, you guys, if you're listening, is you got to do it while you're young. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are going to be against you and they're going to laugh at you and they're going to be like, no chance.
My whole high school laughed at me, and like no one was like thinking like, after he's going to be back after a year or after 6 months or whatever. And obviously.
But who's laughing now? You're still here.
Who's laughing now?
And that's the funny thing. It's like people will talk shit and they'll be like, nah. But the reality is they're jealous that you're actually taking that leap. They're like, oh, they don't have the balls to do it, but you're doing it. So they're kind of hating on you, trying to bring you down because they couldn't do it. And it's like, at the same time, now I look back too, and I'm like, all right, like who's talking about you? Yeah. No, you're talking about me, because I went and did it,
Especially now, because I did my first movie, my first cover shoot of a fashion magazine. So now I'm all over the media, the news media in Luxembourg. So literally now everyone knows me. Yeah. Like, it's so small, but now it just became like...
Shout out Luxembourg.
Yeah, shout out Luxembourg, the national thing over there.
But it's cool now because you know what's funny? At first they hated you and now they're like proud that, someone from Luxembourg is doing this.
And now my father's like, I told you, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're my son. Always. You got the good looks for me.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So you took the leap, you came over here.
Yeah. My first job here was a model. I was modeling for Abercrombie & Fitch.
A&F.
I arrived here January 1st. So I actually celebrated my last day in Luxembourg it was like New Year's Eve. And then I took the same night the flight to come over to LA.
Did you have an apartment already picked out?
Yeah. Okay. We planned everything out. We were in Culver City or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were there. It was surreal because I was like, oh my God, when you first arrive here, you don't really know anyone. So it was really hard making.
And your sister moved
friends.
with you.
Yeah. So thank God I had my sister because otherwise I would be by myself.
So what was the response about her?
Same. Like
don't go?
No. She wanted to go so bad. Like we wanted to get out.
Right.
But like for us, it was just like, we're coming into a new territory, so we really have to get adjusted to it fast and make sure that we know, where to go and where all the stuff are and meet new people. So that was our priority.
And let me ask, because a lot of people want to know this. LA is a very expensive city, right? Rent is very expensive. So how did you work that out? Did you have any financial backing from your parents?
So in the beginning, my sister had a lot of savings, and she actually paid the rent. And she's like, because I just got out of high school, like I didn't have that much. I worked like 2 summer jobs, but that wasn't gonna pay the rent. Right. So that's what helped. But that's why I got a job straight away with Abercrombie & Fitch, and he worked there a little bit. Worked there for 6 months, and then after 6 months, she was like, you should start doing YouTube and social media in general, because you can.
And this was about 4 years ago when it was kind of on the rise?
Yeah, it was 4 years ago. And I was like, okay, cool. And at first I was like, you do know I want to become an actor. I don't want to become a YouTuber or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't understand that in the beginning. And she was like, no, you should do it. You'll be discovered. Trust me. And I trusted her. I did it. And then I remember I booked a commercial. My first commercial here in LA. It was like a tax commercial. And so I did that. And she told me, take your vlog camera, and vlog the behind the scenes stuff. So I did that, and then
what was that like?
It was weird. I never vlogged in my life before. Like people were staring at me. You're talking to a camera. It's not even a real person.
Right.
Like, hey guys, what's up? I'm here, blah, blah. And that by itself was like weird to me. But once I did so many, like I was really bad at it in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then my
of course, we all were. Yeah. You gotta, but that's the thing with vlogging. You got to take yourself out of your comfort zone. It's like doing things that make you uncomfortable or what you make you a better person. In my opinion, they like mature you.
And my sister was editing the videos. She was like, "That was really bad. Like, do it again." I was like, "Okay."
It's not easy. It's not even easy doing a podcast. People are like, "Oh, I could just sit there and talk," but like to host, to have a conversation, to keep going, to transition. There's so many more elements to it that you need to just be like on the fly.
Keep the energy up too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And so basically we did that. I vlogged the whole thing. We posted it as my first vlog, and then it got a few thousand views, whatever. It wasn't crazy, but then I started noticing in my email on my Gmail, I received multiple emails from like agencies that actually said, "Oh man, hi, we saw your commercial, blah blah, on YouTube. Do you have time to meet up? We want to sign you, etc., etc." So that's how I got into acting. I didn't even have any acting experience.
Okay.
So everything was planned by my sister way before I even realized what was going on. Like she really knew what she was doing. So signed with a small agency, and then I was there for 3 or 4 months, and then after I moved on to a bigger agency, which I'm still with right now. And that's how I started my acting career. And obviously I took acting classes right now obviously for 2 years now.
So yeah, you said you just, we mentioned before, I don't think we did it in the podcast, but before we were talking, you just wrapped a movie.
Yeah.
Your first movie?
My first ever movie. It's a horror thriller. Feature film. It's called I'm Not Afraid. I have a pretty big role in it.
Is Eminem's soundtrack in it?
I'm Not Afraid. No, it's not out. But yeah, it is called I'm Not Afraid. It'll be out next year. I'm really excited. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I was going to mess up so bad, forget my lines and everything. But once I was in character and I actually got on set, I was like, oh my God, I felt it. When you connect to a character, that's the love for the craft that I developed over the years, that I fell in love with the characters and I can be someone else and I can see myself doing this as a living too.
Right.
But the hardest part, to be honest, of the acting was not the actual acting. It was the hours, because it's a horror movie. It's shot at night.
Yeah.
So I had to arrive on set at like 7 p.m. and then we were shooting until 9 a.m.
Wow.
And then I got home.
I've had a few of those when I did behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's not fun at all because it messes up your entire sleep schedule.
Oh
You're
God.
just exhausted. Yeah.
And I remember the last day I just forgot my lines. I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It's 5 a.m. right now. I got to do this. This is really an intense scene. So I got to, do this. And, but to be honest, it was a really good experience.
What was that like acting in your first thing? Because I know when I look back at college, and it's so much different now, but when I look back at college, when I was doing on-air stuff at school for TV, when I did a podcast in college, I did all of these things. I was very nervous because I was being graded, I was being judged, like I wasn't a professional. But then when I started doing stuff like this, like I'm super comfortable, I'm super relaxed because this is my job. Yeah. But going into acting for you, what was it like to sit there and be judged by a director and have all these other people? Because you're not just in a room by yourself with a cameraman. There's like 15 people watching you.
I was more afraid of my sister, who was on backstage.
That's good though.
Because she was there looking at, she told me that was not good. Do that again. So she's my manager too. And she has her own production company and her digital media company here in LA, but she just helps me now, because I need her to manage me and to help me out with social media. But she helps me out with acting too, of course. Like she can tell if I made the scene look authentic or not authentic. And that was that. I was not afraid, to be honest. I completely forgot there were
title of the movie. I'm Not Afraid.
I'm not afraid. Exactly. No, but it was weird. Usually I'm like you. I would be nervous, but I'm more nervous for the audition process.
Oh yeah, the auditions are worth. Guys, if you are listening right now and you want to become an actor and you move out to Los Angeles, you see yourself on the big screen, but the most nerve-wracking thing ever is going in the audition room and you're sitting there and you're like, probably a horror scene, you're probably like have to hit shit and you're like sitting there hitting the air and you're like trying to like all these things you have to do.
It's so
like,
awkward.
It's so awkward. There's people watching
and you get and they're like next.
Yeah, next. It's like it's very because they don't have any time to give you feedback, and then you'll call after and be like, you'll get a callback. But speaking of callbacks, you mentioned prior to the podcast, you got a callback for Power Rangers. Yeah. Which is pretty sick.
I know, dude.
That could be, that's like a make or break role for your career.
This year was a good year for me, to be honest.
2018 was a shitty year for me.
It was a good year for me. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all
good. This year was a good year for me. So I did the audition for Power Rangers. My agent called me and he was like, hey man, so I submitted you to the casting director of Power Rangers. Are you interested in going in for it? I was like, I'm not sure if I'm good for this, but okay, I'll give it a try. I went in for my first audition. I wasn't expecting much, I just went in there. I knew my lines, did what I had to do. Came back, and then 10 minutes later, literally my agent called me, oh, they loved you, dude, blah, blah, blah. Like, they want to see you again. They want to see a whole stunt video, how you do. Like, because I had a little bit of stunt experience with, because I have like stunt friends who do stunts here in LA. So they said, we want to see a stunt video next. So my sister and I, she directed it, and we had our stunt choreographer there. 8-hour shoot without rest. Boom, 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 boom. Just did a whole stunt video, and it looked really awesome. I'll show it to you later. I'll give it to you for the video. Okay. It looked sick, and then Like, I think...
Were you in tights?
No. That was just us who shot it for them.
Okay.
So just sent the stunt video, and then I didn't hear anything from them for like at least 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, well...
Which sucks, because you're left in the dark, and it happens a lot.
All the time. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, nothing, no feedback, nothing. I probably didn't get it. My agent calls me back. Dude. I was like, yeah. His name is Mike. Mike was like, they absolutely loved you. And first he sent me a text. Guess who's going to become the Red Ranger? I was like, no way. Did I get it? He was like, oh, no. They want to see you in the callback. I was like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
Why are you saying
false hope?
Yeah, false hope. So I made it into the finals. So you have to imagine this whole audition process took 4 months.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it's a huge series.
It wasn't just me going in. Like, the production is Nickelodeon. So it wasn't like a small audition process. I had to go back and forth, in and out, do the new lines. And it was different characters too. Sometimes they just gave me lines that weren't even from Power Rangers. Wow. It was just a different script. I was like, okay, I'll go in for it. I'll just do it. And then my agent. So once I became more close to the finals, my agent told me, okay, I believe they want you to audition now for the Red or Blue Ranger. So I went in, final audition.
It's interesting how they pick these Rangers. Is they have like specific powers or something?
I have no clue. So I went in there, dude. And so there's a bunch of guys, girls who were there. I came in there. They were the producers, the directors. There were 5 people. And as you said, there I got nervous because there were lights on, like 2 different camera angles. And I heard Disney, Nickelodeon, all those things are like the hardest thing to audition for because it's just hard. So like controlling. It was very controlling. Yeah. And like, but the casting director, she was really nice. She really liked me. She was like, oh my God, Chris, I think you got this. You can do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll do this. She was like, maybe do this. Show it this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I did my whole stunt thing, did my lines. And then the producer said, okay, I actually really liked you. And then he wrote something down on his note. I didn't know what. And then another month went by. So now it's 4 months later.
Yep.
And then my agent called me and he was like, man, unfortunately you didn't get it because you're too tall. But they absolutely loved you.
Such a bullshit excuse.
Really? I was too tall. But it's true. After when I did look at the cast, they were all super short.
Yeah, what's really interesting is a lot of actors are like 5'5", bro. Like 5'5" to 5'7". No, and I didn't know this because I embrace being tall. Like I love the fact that I'm 6'3". So like whenever I do a self-tape or whenever I would do an audition, I sit there and they'd be like, what's your height? I'm like 6'3", stand tall, right?
Yeah.
But I learned that you're supposed to not say you're 6'3" and be like 6'1", 6'2". Like 6'3" is too tall because most Americans, most people, most actors are 5'7".
But also, my agent actually explained me why they wanted, because everyone was the same height. And it's easier for the camera guys to just shoot it, because if you're taller than them, they always have
to shoot up.
Yeah,
and I mean that's something I struggle with when I shoot my skits. To be honest, because my roommate George, we shoot a lot of skits together. He's 5 whatever, and I'm 6'3", so I literally have to like spread my legs so I'm at his height because it's just too hard. True. And even when people want to shoot me, it's just like they got to be up here. It's like
So I do get that. In the end of the day, they still love me. They like it. It proved that I did something right. It felt right. It felt good. So in the end of the day, you have no control over your hype. So it is what it is.
You can't beat yourself up out of it. You made it to the finals.
Exactly.
And like, you don't have, it's not like you can lose inches on your height, you know?
Yeah. No, right? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Just chop my legs off. But it was a good experience, to be honest. It really was a good experience. And then a month later, that's when I booked I'm Not Afraid. And I didn't audition for that.
Which everything leads up to that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about, so your sister, when you first moved out here, told you to get into social media. Most people I've had on the show, millions of followers, right? You got like 100,000.
100,000, yeah.
So I remember the day my roommate actually just hit 100,000 and it was a big, big moment for him. Talk a little bit about, because it's nice to have the perspective of someone where at that stage.
It's fresh right now.
You know what I'm saying? It's fresh.
It was literally just a few months ago that I reached 100,000. It was surreal because, I come from Luxembourg. There are no influencers out there. Like I'm literally the biggest influencer out there right now because there's none. So
which you should be proud of it. Like
but here it is nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Which sucks in LA because it's like, oh, you hit 100K, cool. Like who the fuck doesn't have 100K? Exactly. But it's like you have to be proud of it. Like 100,000 people is a lot of people, right? Like you can never downplay, oh, this person has millions and this person has 100,000.
That's what Johannes told me too in the beginning.
Yeah.
He was more of like a big brother role to me. So before I actually hit 100,000, he was like, you're going to see brands are going to notice you once you reach 100,000. This will happen. You're going to have, you don't be too fixated on the numbers, on the followers, just do your thing.
Oh, because it'll mess you up,
Yeah, he told me it messed him up. So I was like, okay. So I took his advice and I was like, okay, now I actually know how to handle it. So that helped a lot, having guys like you guys who've been in the game longer than me. And yeah, when I reached 100K, it was crazy because I never thought that I would actually reach 100K. It was funny. Actually, I wrote down on the list last year for New Year's Eve, I want to be on my first, I want to be in a feature film. I want to book a cover shoot and I want to reach 100,000 followers. And I was like, I don't know if I'll make it. And check.
That's amazing.
So I actually reached all 3 of them this year. So now I even have people recognizing me on the street, which is crazy. And I'm just at 100,000 followers, but it's usually like German fans or French or whatever. Even
what kind of content are you creating?
So my Instagram is more lifestyle. My sister didn't want me to become the slave of social media, and I have to post, click.
It's an obsession. I mean, but at the same time, it is my job, so it's like I can't not post.
Exactly, you have to post. But what she wanted us to become is more of a lifestyle brand. So if I am auditioning today, that's the content you guys get. If I'm playing Fortnite, whatever, that's what you guys get. And if I'm doing fitness, that's what I do. So I think we managed it pretty well to not be stuck in just fitness or just,
which is good. It's hard. You have to be diverse. Absolutely.
Yeah. So my niche is just lifestyle, my lifestyle. And I want my followers to follow me for, see my evolution, being in my first movie, this Power Ranger. So now I've been talking about it. So maybe next year I'll have another superhero role.
That's awesome. Yeah. A question. Do you have a job?
So right now, this is my job. So acting and social media is like my full-time job in modeling. So it wasn't like, as I said before, I had like a small 9-to-5. I was working for like a tech company because I spoke
out here.
Out here. Yeah. Like it was like
because that's something I want people to understand. So you've been three years and you were working for a company. Absolutely. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think, hey, I'm going to save some money. I'm going to move to LA. And I'm going to get famous.
It
doesn't work that way. And people don't understand. Like I moved out here. I slept in a closet underneath clothes on an air mattress. Made $1,000 a month. That was my rate.
Wow.
I fortunately had rent paid for me. But at the same time, like I was hustling and doing these other jobs while I was doing this. This was a hobby. And then finally it became my job after years. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot that goes into it. It doesn't happen overnight. Like Grant, like people think too, even if you watch Ninja, they're like, damn, look how much money he makes. Look how fast. Homie's been doing this for a year, his entire life. He's been playing video games professionally and finally it paid off. It's like all that hard work for such little money and then it pays off.
Exactly. Last year I was doing a few brand deals, like friends of mine, just for free, just to have the exposure.
Exactly.
Or just going to events just for exposure.
Put something on your resume. I remember those times. I would do posts for people to get free stuff because then it looks like, hey, he's working with this brand. He's working with this brand. And it's a good collaboration. And it's like, you got to hustle, dude. You got to grind. Like you're at that stage too, where it's like, the hardest thing in the world is to get to 10,000. And then the hardest thing after that's 100,000. And after you get 100,000, it gets a little bit easier.
It is a little bit easier now to get more people onto my page. Because it looks more legit, 100,000, have a following. I call them a hashtag Chris Crew. That's
good.
how I call them. And it just, I'm going to be honest with you, last year was super hard because I just, I quit my job. And I said, my sister said, if you want to do this, you got to be 100,000,000% just focus on social media, on acting, on modeling. So that's what we did. So thank God it finally, pays off because as you said, it's not easy in the beginning. It wasn't easy because there's so many influencers out here too. Like how are you going to stand out? So we were like,
dye your hair white.
Exactly. But I just basically used my ethnicities and my languages to my advantage.
See, that is your advantage because you're unique in your own self. Like just a white tall guy with brown hair. So like, to be honest, I did dye my hair so I would stand out. So I'd be recognizable. Like you have to think, what are recognizable features on certain individuals? Like look at Ninja.
Blue hair.
He's got hair. Tim the Tap Man. All these like Twitch guys, they have these recognizable features. I mean, you have some anomalies. Like Logan's just a big dude. Like he's got his hair anyway. Exactly. But you have certain things that define you as an individual. But it's good for you. And I think too in Hollywood's making a very big shift for ethnic roles.
I'm getting like right now, it's really good because now with the whole Crazy Rich Asian thing, like there's more roles available for Asian Americans, and also my languages are a huge advantage. I can go into auditions for German, for German speaking roles or French speaking roles. So I do have an advantage with that. So my sister was like, we might as well just use it to our advantage. And also my ethnicity and everything. Like you can't really tell if I'm just Asian or Hispanic. Like some people were speaking Spanish with me. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't, you know, but yeah, that's the way I stood out the most. And also I could connect with my fans from Germany directly, just, you know, doing Instagram stories and just speaking in German or in French or whatever.
Which is really cool, which is something you should embrace for sure. Yeah. Like I wish, like you have to understand there's a demographic that people don't hit, you know, like I'm not really going to hit the German speaking demographic because like, why are they going to watch, you know, but you can really connect with someone. That's kind of like, I forget who the artist was, but you know, all these Latin artists are coming up in music, and because they're connecting with like Colombia, they're connecting with Mexico, and then they get huge there. And then everyone in America is like, oh, this is a bop, you know, then the Americans come. But if you can really capture the German audience, you can really capture the French.
Yeah. Also
French
Asian
people.
Asian too. Like even if I don't speak it, I still look Asian. So, and also Turkish too. I'm also Turkish. So I can speak a little bit of Turkish too. So I'm using everything to my advantage right now. So
yeah, that's awesome. Because you're a role model for those people, especially Luxembourg. You know, you're a role model. You set the stage.
Like, there's no one. I couldn't tell to my father, look at this guy. He's from Luxembourg. He went to LA. He did this.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
There was no one.
At least Johannes had Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, well, that was accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had no one. So we had to kind of create it and prove to my parents. Like right now, it's fine. They support me. My father's super proud of me, you know, seeing his son on the big screen, on covers of magazines, etc. My mom too, of course. And, you know, but as you said, it was hard in the beginning. But I'm glad that, you know, that's also a thing. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I would be able, would have been able to do that. Anything or accomplish anything if my sister wasn't there to,
which is what I love, dude.
Me. Yeah, so she was really my mentor from day one. She was believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. There was points like last year I was like, I'm not growing. Like I'm at 30K. When I met Johannes, I was at 30K. I didn't even grow. So no, it was even less. Sorry, it was like 10K. And I wasn't growing. I was like, man, how am I going to stand out? There's so much competition out here. The Mark Dohners, the Johannes Bartels, the George Yankos, whatever, the Logan Pauls. So
but you got to understand, dude, we all started at zero.
Exactly. Everyone started. And my sister told me something really interesting. She was like, what did she tell me? She told me, there's always going to be place for someone new. So, you know, there's always this shift going on in social media and acting, new actors coming in, new influencers coming in. So she said, just got to be ready.
Exactly. And that's why you have to adapt to the trends. Like if I just stuck to Instagram, where would I be? You know, like I saw that there was a trend going on YouTube. I'm like, bam, got to hit this. And now like,
now it's Twitch, whatever.
Twitch, gaming, get on it, you know, podcast, get on it. Like whatever it is, get on it and be multifunctional, because if you can only do one thing, like you said, you're kind of limited. And I feel like today, in today's age, if you guys are listening and you want to be a social media, whatever for your job, you can't really just do one thing, to be honest, because there's people out there that do more than one thing.
Oh my God.
Like Ninja, for example. Yeah, he's a gamer, whatever, but he still posts to YouTube. He still posts to Instagram. He streams on Twitch. Like you got to do it all now. More so than ever, because it's so saturated and everyone wants to do it. So it's like,
I feel like now there's more influencers than ever. Like
it's like the top, right? What everyone wants to do.
Yeah. Like right now it is crazy. Everyone wants to be an influencer. Everyone wants to be famous. Even actors are now on YouTube. Look at Will Smith,
Kevin Hart,
The Rock.
Dude, I mean, YouTube as a whole is kind of like, I don't know. It's frustrating, to be honest, to be a YouTuber, because you go to the trending page and you're like, okay,
it doesn't rank.
It's all traditional stars. It's like Jimmy Kimmel, it's Jimmy Fallon, The Rock, Ellen, like all the shit, musicians. Like you don't ever see a YouTuber on the trending page, which is really, really frustrating, because it's just like, it's just turning into this like media giant.
True. So that's why I stopped YouTube. I haven't posted in a year, and I switched to Instagram. Now I'm even on the live streaming app. It's like a Chinese it's called UpLive. It's like a Chinese app where you just do live streams. So I gained like the Asian community right now. I gained like followers from there. So I'm trying to switch it up too. And
smart, yeah,
doing modeling now, and I just booked my first ever cover shoot for Obvious magazine, and I'm the first Asian American to ever be featured in it.
That's awesome, man.
Super proud about that because I was like, wow, I actually accomplished something at least.
No, you've accomplished a lot. And like, you got a long way to go. And like the biggest thing that I can give you for advice, to be honest, is don't get discouraged because, you know, you're at the best part right now. You know, it's only up for you, right? Like, so like, you can get to someone's level like me, for example, like you would think, oh, he's all great and happy, but it gets stressful. You know what I'm saying? I feel
like if you're level 1, you level up faster than if you're level 100. It's
right. It gets harder. It does get harder and it gets taxing on you because like you said, like we talked about, you have to adapt and like you see your numbers go down and you're like, well, fuck, man. Like,
especially that because you know you were on top of the game and this and that. And but I mean,
someone like me, I understand there's always new people coming in, so it's like, how can I keep the faces on me?
Exactly. Well, if you collaborate with those guys,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, right now there's so many influencers even outside of LA who are becoming huge. Like I noticed that France, Germany, more people are becoming influencers and YouTubers or whatever, Instagrammers, whatever you want to call them, and I think even though it creates like a huge market for influencers, there's still going to be the big guys, like the big sharks like you or whoever, you know, who's on Instagram. So I don't think it will just disappear like that. You guys won't just disappear. You just have to, you guys will adapt, as you said, and it will be fine.
It's all about adapting. You have to be
even actors adapt. They're on, as we said, they're on YouTube and all that. So there's no way you guys will just disappear.
Right. And some things are out of your control, to be honest, guys. Like Vine, for example, there was a lot of people's careers made on Vine. A lot of Vine got deleted.
True.
So it's like, where do you go now? So it's like, okay, you need to be able to adapt. You need to go to Instagram, you know? And like I mentioned with YouTube, it's like,
if that dies out, dude,
it's not that YouTube's going to die out. It's just, like I said, it's just taking a shift to like, oh, we want traditional. We want traditional. We want YouTube to be not just influencers. We want traditional people on YouTube. YouTube doesn't want to be like social media. You know what I'm saying? They want to compete with Netflix. They want to compete with Hulu.
Of course, which is understandable.
So, so you can't really rely on these platforms to get you where you want to be. You need to rely on yourself.
Exactly. And also create different opportunities. That's why I went into acting and modeling. So I'm not just focusing on Instagram or whatever, YouTube, whatever. So I feel like now we're in the age where there's so many possibilities with social media and the internet in general. So, you know, if you're not lazy, as you said, and you just, you know, work and become obsessed and you love what you do, create the content, it'll be fine.
Absolutely, guys. And if there's something you can take away from this podcast, what I really like about your story is that you're committed, you stayed true to yourself, and your sister really stood by your side and you guys went at it together.
Still is, dude.
And that's awesome, guys. I think family is very, very important. Find yourself someone out there that really supports you, that wants you to succeed just as much as they want themselves to succeed. You don't want to be around selfish people. But yeah, and always my motto, be positive, be happy, be you. Chris, thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
I appreciate you guys. I'll put his links down in the description. You can check out his stuff. And I will see you guys next week on Livin Large. Deuces.